Hello and welcome to Maxim Foods Inside Track. Thanks for joining us. The sun's out finally in Queensland. We're hitting 30 plus degrees here, so we're all out swimming and having a good time, which is great. Plenty of sport going on throughout the world. Congratulations to England on the T20 victory in the cricket. Congratulations to the New Zealand women rugby team who won over England last weekend. And fingers crossed that the Australian Rugby League team can get up this week against Samoa to retain the World Cup. Let's have a look at dairy and see what's happening in the world. As a general summary of the market, we've seen some short-term demand across the commodities, especially on last night's GDT, which was a little bit unexpected. There was predicted some further easing. However, I think a lot of people are seeing some good value in dairy commodities at the moment. So people are sort of jumping back in, which has lifted pricing a little. I guess the real fundamentals of the market though remain the same, is that the New Zealand milk is down, Australia milk is down, US milk up a little bit, and EU quite flat in broad sense. So milk down as a whole globally, and demand also down. So that really is still the fundamentals of what's happening out there. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it tails out in the next 2 to 3 months, whether that demand continues to pick up with diminishing milk. That could cause a real stir in pricing. Let's have a look at the commodities, starting off at full cream milk powder. We saw a slight increase, and that was probably the most unexpected last night in the auction, which is a good promising result after some decreases over the last 2 to 3 months. So it does show that people do see value in the market, and they've jumped back in to acquire some product in the short term. The long-term outlook, yeah, it's still very much unexpected. You know, will China come back into the market, you know, in Q1 of next year? If that is the case, with low milk in New Zealand, that could see that whole milk price, you know, jump up quite quickly on us. Having a look at skim milk powder now, probably the best example of what we've discussed in terms of people seeing value and jumping back into the market. We saw a 3% increase last night on GDT, which may suggest that demand-wise it has found a bit of a base. The short to medium term outlook, Europe are still quite healthy on skim supply, as are the US, and New Zealand skim supply, although down, is still reasonably healthy against demand. So we probably will see predict a 3 to 6 sort of flat outlook for skim milk powder. Moving across to butterfat, so probably the best performing of all the commodities has been the fats. So we've still seen some good prices achieved against the powders, I guess, or relative to powders. So there was quite a flat result last night on the auction. Yeah, things remain quite finely balanced. Less supply in NZ and AU, especially in Australia, really are short on butterfat, so New Zealand remains the cheapest globally. We do see some easing in pricing in the EU as well as the US on butterfat, but New Zealand still remains the cheapest globally in price, or the best value globally. So yeah, we still see demand reasonable for butterfat, and still predict that butterfat will remain buoyant and firm for the next 3 to 6 months. Having a look at cheese now, just focusing more on Australia and New Zealand for today. We've basically seen some good, strong food service demand with supply tightening. So Australia, as mentioned, will be down on milk for this season, and some figures suggest, you know, that will be well down. So obviously retail cheese is first priority, followed followed by food service and then industrial. So we will see some really, well, contraction in cheese supply in Australia, which undoubtedly will lead to higher pricing. So really one to watch there. New Zealand, a little bit similar in the fact that their milk is down and cheese is becoming more scarce. So we should see that keeping pricing relatively firm in the short to medium term for cheddar. Finishing off with whey powder, sweet whey powder market seems relatively balanced, pricing firm in the short term. In the protein side of things, WPCs and WPIs seem to be drifting off after those record pricings over the last 12 months. So demand's still there for PC and PI, however it does seem to be settling back to traditional pricing after a really bullish 12 to 18 months. So in summary, short-term demand is up, people seeing good value and a good buying window at the moment, yet the fundamentals of the market remain the same. Demand globally is still quite soft, and the outlook for demand is quite soft for the next 3 to 6 months. However, supply, especially in the New Zealand, Australian region, is really low. So things are balancing themselves out now. So have yourself a great fortnight, and we'll see you again soon.